This is 7 News. Parched Earth, a look at climate change and how it's affecting water levels, heat, and wildfires in our region. Mental Health Awareness Month, what doctors are saying anyone can do to improve their mental well-being. Vaccines for kids under the age of 5, the timeline on when officials hope immunizations can begin. Plus, recall alert, the potential problem with 250,000 SUVs driving on the road right now. And thanks for joining us for 7 News at 6. We begin tonight with our series Parched Earth, a closer look on climate change affecting the ongoing drought, heat, and wildfires in the Southwest. Tonight, water levels at Lake Mead are at an all-time low. The lake is the country's largest man-made reservoir and plays a big role in supplying water to Arizona, Nevada, and California. Pictures released from the Southern Nevada Water Authority show one of the reservoir's original water intake valve is exposed due to the low water level. The agency says they started taking action 20 years ago and have been prepared for this. In 2020, crews broke ground on a new intake valve located at the bottom of the lake.
Southern Nevada would have lost half of its capacity to bring water into our community to meet water demand. Because we had the low lake level pumping station built, constructed, and ready to go, we were able to make a seamless transition.
The new intake valve is called the Third Straw, and it became fully operational this year, allowing the city of Las Vegas to continue to pump water from its primary water supply.
Public cooling centers will generally come online May 1st, and that's a regionally coordinated effort. And then there are other specific elements like when particular trailheads close that are limited to particular days when the National Weather Service has an excessive heat warning in effect.
And with our forecast showing Phoenix flirting with the triple digits, we know they're on the way soon, and city leaders are starting early to prepare for the summer heat. The city is launching a new heat response plan to keep people safe this summer. According to the Maricopa County Department of Health, there were 338 deaths associated with heat last year. That's a 400% increase compared to 2014. Most of those deaths are taking place within Phoenix, and many involve people living on the street. Recently, City Council members approved a comprehensive plan that included creating a new shelter.
What we intend to do is provide a 200-bed shelter for individuals to, one, get out of the heat and the elements, but also provide intensive case management because it's an outcome-focused program to resolve the people's issues of homelessness and get them on the path that they choose.
In addition to cooling centers and resources, the city will continue closing down hiking trails on extremely hot days. Officials said there's no start date for many of these initiatives, but they're likely to start soon. Now to our wildfire watch tonight, an update to the 2 major wildfires burning in Arizona. New details coming in overnight about the tunnel fire near Flagstaff. Crews in the high country tell us the fire is now 92% contained, but the size remains the same at just over 19,000 acres. Meanwhile, the Crooks fire is growing. Crews tell us it's now burning more than 9,000 acres just south of Prescott and is still 38% contained. Moving to our east now, 1,000 firefighters are in New Mexico battling the largest active wildfire in the country. New numbers show the Calf Canyon and Hermit's Peak fires have scorched more than 100,000 acres. Firefighters say this wildfire is only about 30% contained, and officials in New Mexico are starting to plan for evacuations. There's concern the fire could double in size before it is fully under control. Fire bans for multiple valley communities are now in effect. The Maricopa County Parks and Recreation Department have put the annual open fire ban in place due to the combination of low humidity, increased temperatures, excessive dry vegetation, and high winds the valley experiences during the summer months. The ban includes no open fires in Phoenix's desert parks and mountain preserves, no open wood, charcoal fires, or fire pits, and no campfires along the Lake Pleasant shoreline. It also includes a reminder of what is prohibited year-round, like no smoking outside enclosed vehicles and no fireworks. Ban is in effect through September 30th, but may be extended. Additional temporary fire bans may be put in place during red flag warnings. Developing tonight, Phoenix police are investigating a shooting in which an officer shot a man armed with a machete several times near 19th Avenue and Southern Avenue Sunday afternoon. Officials say police were responding to an unrelated call at a gas station around noon when they noticed a man standing in a field waving a machete around and yelling in Spanish. Police tried to talk to the man, but officials say he continued screaming irrationally and waving the weapon around. He then began advancing on officers, and that's when one officer shot at the man, striking him several times. He was taken to a hospital in critical but stable condition. Also developing now, a car that was crashed into a Glendale home on Sunday was involved in a hit-and-run crash. Glendale police said the incident started near Westgate after a car hit another vehicle and ran away. The car that was hit started chasing after the suspect's car, which is when police were contacted. Police say the car caught fire while in the garage, but firefighters were able to put it out before it spread to the house. The fire department had originally reported that the car had crashed into the home after police attempted to make a traffic stop, but police said officers did not arrive until after the crash. No injuries were reported. Children under the age of 5 could soon be vaccinated against COVID-19. The Food and Drug Administration announced its Vaccines and Related Biological Products Advisory Committee will meet next month to discuss updates to vaccine makers' emergency use authorizations of vaccines for younger ages. Moderna officials have said the FDA is expected to move fast, and a Pfizer official suggested that its vaccine for younger children could be available in June. This comes as former White House coronavirus response coordinator Dr. Deborah Birx said the U.S. should prepare for a possible summer surge of COVID-19 cases across the South.
Nice to meet you. Thank you for coming. Pleasure to meet you.
Jim McGovern from Massachusetts. Nice to meet you.
Thank you very much.
Now to the war in Ukraine. The United Nations and the International Committee of the Red Cross began evacuating civilians from the southern port city of Mariupol on Sunday, and the operation continued today. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky met with U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and a congressional delegation in Kyiv. He called the U.S. a, quote, leader in strong support for Ukraine. House Speaker Pelosi said additional U.S. support for Ukraine is on the way following President Biden's massive aid package proposal.
We believe that we are visiting you to say thank you for your fight for freedom, that we are on a frontier of freedom, and that your fight is a fight for everyone. And so our commitment is to be there for you until the fight is done.
House Speaker Pelosi said the delegation will meet with Poland's president and other senior officials to discuss how they can further work together to support Ukraine. Frightening video of a tornado posted on TikTok in Kansas. Officials say the twister destroyed and damaged hundreds of homes and buildings, injured several people, and left more than 15,000 people without power.
I think we're still in shock, and I think it's going to be a long road ahead. So I think mainly just trying to find out the next steps. We were trying to figure out where to store items. Where do you put your house?
It's crazy. The insurance company, said they wouldn't be out till probably the middle of next week. So it's just kind of hurry up and wait on that. And so we're just digging through to see what we can find on day 2.
In addition to wreckage from the tornado itself, 3 University of Oklahoma meteorology students traveling back from storm chasing were killed in a crash Friday evening. Authorities say more than 1,000 buildings were affected when the strong twister swept through Andover, Kansas. Mental health awareness, doctors sounding the alarm about the ongoing struggle for so many Americans and what people can do to improve it. Gas prices continuing to rise. Details on the pain at the pump for diesel drivers. Plus, we're tracking the heat, and we got up to 94 degrees in Phoenix today, but when the valley will see the first triple digits of the year coming up. Each year, millions of Americans face the reality of living with a mental illness. According to the National Institute of Mental Health, 1 in 5 Americans live with a mental health condition. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, but as many of us know, maintaining mental health is something that takes work year-round. As much of our world has returned to a sense of normalcy, mental health has only worsened. From healthcare workers, parents, kids, and celebrities, the majority of Americans struggle with their mental well-being. Country music singer Naomi Judd, who was candid about her struggle with depression, died Saturday at age 76. Her daughter said they had lost their mother to the disease of mental illness.
Prior to the pandemic, 1 out of 10 adults would report anxiety or depression, and it's 3 times that number now. It's been hard for young people, so we see an alarming rise in youth mental health issues, and it's pretty much across the board how COVID has impacted our mental health.
A survey conducted by the American Psychological Association revealed that there are several driving factors behind poor mental health and stress among adults. According to the results, 87% of people cited rising costs of everyday items, such as groceries and gas, as a significant source of stress. 65% said that they were stressed about money and the economy, the highest percentage recorded since 2015. As doctors continue to sound the alarm of the importance of mental health, there are simple things people can do to power their well-being.
We are deeply social creatures, and connecting with other people is one of the best things that we can do. There are things that we can do with our bodies that will help our minds, being physically active, and a most important one is getting adequate sleep. 30% of adults in the U.S. don't get enough sleep. Then there's this idea of looking for the things that we're grateful for and practicing gratitude and taking time to think about those things that we're grateful for. The last thing is that being in touch with our emotions. Sometimes we have this idea that if we just bury our emotions, sort of like a beach ball we're trying to hold under the water, that beach ball is going to come up at one point. And it's important to be in connection with our emotions and unpack why we're feeling the way we do. And this is where some people sometimes need help.
With an ongoing struggle that so many people deal with every day, it's important to know that you aren't alone.
We need to offer each other grace. One of my favorite quotes is that be kind, because everyone is fighting a battle you know nothing about.
And for Mental Health Awareness Month this year, the National Alliance on Mental Illness plans to amplify the message of Together for Mental Health. They hope to use this month to bring voices together to advocate for mental health and access to care. Coming up, the search is on for a missing swimmer at Lake Pleasant. What police are saying about the incident. Google announcing it's taking requests to potentially increase the security of its users. And Phoenix Suns fined why the NBA is telling the best league of the team to pay up. But first, is a recession on the way? What experts are saying about the state of the nation's economy. New at 6, between sky-high inflation and rising interest rates, economists are suggesting it might be time to cut back. Some economists predict a major recession could come to the U.S. sooner than later.
No one is predicting a recession now. Some are predicting there may be a recession in 2023. I'm concerned about it.
Recent consumer readings also suggest many Americans aren't sure where their financial futures are headed. Complicating matters, the ultra-low interest rate environment that has dominated the U.S. economy for years has come to an end, with the Federal Reserve poised to hike its key benchmark rate next week for the second time in nearly 2 months.
Probably the first thing to think about is just to shore up your balance sheet a little bit and really take care of those emergency reserves. If you keep 3 or 4 months of reserve available, maybe extend that a little bit more. If you don't have much cash on hand, you might want to think about putting some away.
Most recently, the global pandemic and now Russia's invasion of Ukraine underscore the likelihood of large economic shocks and disruptions that must be addressed.
Now is the time to look at your expenses and consider, again, if we had some hard times, if we had job loss, what would we need to cut back on? Don't panic, no drastic moves. These recessions happen. It's a cyclical part of our business cycle.
While most economists are certain that growth will begin slowing in the coming months, there is debate about how severe the drop will be and what it all means for average Americans. In your consumer headlines, the price of diesel has hit an all-time national high. The average price of a gallon of diesel was $5.29 on Sunday, up about 4.3% from 1 week ago and nearly twice as much as 1 year ago. Unleaded gas prices are also elevated, standing at $4.18 a gallon, down slightly from the all-time high of $4.33 on March 11th. That's according to AAA. While average Americans are feeling the pain at the pump with high gas prices, the trucking industry has been hit hard by the diesel surge. Ford is recalling more than 250,000 Explorer SUVs. The issue at fault? The vehicles can roll away unexpectedly while shifted into park. The recall covers certain 2020 through 2022 Explorers. Ford has no reports of any crashes or injuries. Depending on the model, dealers will replace a bushing in the axle cover, or they'll update the electronic parking brake software. Owners will be notified by mail starting June 6th. Google is now taking requests for users to remove web pages that have personal information from its search results. In an update to its search terms, the company said it has created a form that users can submit to suppress pages that show information like phone numbers, home addresses, login credentials, or personal images or images of identifying documents. Google said that it won't automatically remove the results and that there must be an explicit or implicit threat of abuse for the request to be considered. And check this out, this video of an active day at Denver International Airport last week. What you're seeing is a so-called gustnado. According to the National Weather Service, a gustnado is a small whirlwind formed within the downburst of a thunderstorm. Although it may look like a tornado, gustnados are different and typically less severe. Gustnados, could you believe that's a thing? Thankfully, we don't have to deal with that here in the Valley of the Sun as we take a look at weather conditions here. Currently, right now, we're looking at 91 degrees, winds west-southwest at 10 miles per hour, sunny conditions. It is looking great as we wrap up our Monday, but we do have some things to watch in our weather fast facts this evening. So we're looking at windy conditions, winds to watch, right? We talked about the wildfires earlier. That's going to continue to happen as we go throughout the next couple of days. We're watching that. We're also looking at those high temperatures with those sunny and dry conditions, of course, which means the 100-degree temperatures are on the way very soon for the Valley of the Sun. We'll detail that out in the 7-day forecast. Currently, right now, where everyone's sitting, 90 degrees in Surprise, 90 in Glendale, 90 out in Fountain Hills, Cave Creek and Carefree up in the 80s, as well as Anthem and Deer Valley, Mesa at 90 degrees and 91 degrees in Gilbert, Apache Junction 90 degrees as well. As we take a look at where everyone was topped out around the state, along the Colorado River border area in the 90s from Yuma all the way up to Bullhead City, 83 degrees in Kingman, Flagstaff you're at 68 degrees. So we're looking at those winds, especially up in the high country. The valley, we do have a light forecast for winds today, but in northern Arizona, we're looking at breezy conditions, gusts up to 30 miles per hour. So definitely an increased fire risk up there. Temperatures across the nation for today, we got up to 57 degrees in Bismarck, 70 degrees in Salt Lake City, 48 in Denver, 68 in St. Louis, Chicago at 55 degrees, New York 57 degrees, Raleigh warm 86 degrees, and Miami 82 degrees today as well. As we take a look at storms across the country, we've got a big weather event in the Midwest section of the country, and that's also kind of spanning out down to the south as well. So as we zoom in here down towards Nashville, Chattanooga, Tennessee, as well as Atlanta, Birmingham as well, we're looking at those storms moving through the south, and of course those will exit the southern region of the country this evening. Back home tonight, 67 degrees, sunset at 7:12 p.m. Tomorrow warming up to 92 degrees, sunny skies, sunrise at 5:37 a.m. And let's talk about the Suns. The game is tonight in just a few minutes at 7 p.m. Footprint Center, 89 degrees for our tip-off forecast. 7-day forecast, as you can see, tomorrow we're going to be up 92 degrees, and then as we advance the week, 94 on Wednesday. Our lows are in the 60s, but take a look at Friday. As by the time we finish our work week, 101 degrees, as well as Saturday and Sunday. We're looking at those breezes, 101 on Saturday, 92 degrees on Sunday. A birthday milestone for a special young royal. And before we go, we want to get a check of some of the stories making headlines tonight. A search is on for a man who disappeared while swimming at Lake Pleasant on Sunday. The man hasn't been identified yet, but police say he was swimming near the Sunset Ridge part of the lake when he went under around 4 p.m. and never resurfaced. The man wasn't wearing a life vest, according to the sheriff's office. This is the second week in a row that a swimmer disappeared at the lake. Last week, a 20-year-old man went under after trying to swim back to an anchored boat. The state's top utility companies are warning about future summers and the chance there won't be enough electricity to go around. SRP is confident about their ability to handle projected peak demand this summer and in 2023, but beyond that, they're concerned. Arizona power companies blame supply chain issues, delays in solar industry manufacturing, and wildfires that threaten transmission lines, among other challenges. The state's two largest utilities assured regulators they have plans in place should the summer be hotter than anticipated. And the NBA fined the Phoenix Suns $25,000 for violating injury reporting rules by failing to disclose guard Devin Booker's participation status in an accurate and timely manner before Game 6 of the first-round playoff series against the New Orleans Pelicans. Booker returned from a strained right hamstring to help the Suns beat the Pelicans 115-109 on Thursday in a game that eliminated the Pelicans. He scored 13 points on 5 of 12 shooting and had 5 rebounds and 3 assists in 32 minutes. minutes. Suns open the second round at home against Dallas in about 30 minutes time. And happy birthday to a young royal. Princess Charlotte is celebrating her 7th birthday today. Prince William and Duchess Kate shared 3 new photos of their only daughter on Sunday ahead of her big day. The portraits were taken in Norfolk, England this weekend by Duchess Kate, who we should mention celebrated 11 years of marriage to William last Friday. Celebrations all around, right? And that does it for our news at 6, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.